Yahoo, AOL, or other email account. Now, when I share this spreadsheet with someone who is an eXpresso user, they'll receive a notification that I have a spreadsheet I want to share with them. They'll receive a link to come to eXpresso and work on the spreadsheet with me. The spreadsheet is never sent as an attachment to an email, just an invitation to come to the eXpresso environment and share. The same is true if I share it with someone who's not an eXpresso user. They'll receive an invitation to join eXpresso, to become a part of my community, and then they can work on the spreadsheet with me. Now that I've decided I want to share this spreadsheet with John, I can determine what rights and privileges he should have to the spreadsheet. By default, he'll be allowed to only view the spreadsheet online. However, I can also invite John to edit the spreadsheet with me. I might want to give him the privilege as well to download or copy the file. In this case, I'll let John view and edit my spreadsheet. I can even further define the rights that John has to the spreadsheet by defining a region that he has the right to edit. This spreadsheet example is a forecast, and perhaps I want John to only update the part of the forecast that is relevant to him. I simply select the range of cells, set it, and give John the privilege to edit that region. Now when John looks at the spreadsheet, he'll have a green line around the cells he's allowed to edit, and if he tries to edit anything else, he'll be told that that section is read-only. I'll go ahead and share the spreadsheet with John. Now I can also set some alerts. If I want to know when John accepts my file so that I know he's got it, I can set an alert, and I can also set an alert every time he makes edits to the file. These will send email notifications to me that these actions have been taken on my file by John. So now on John's side, what he'll see is in his shared spreadsheets folder, Amber's forecast will appear, and he'll have the option to either accept or reject the file.
Okay, Amber, I just received it, and I have accepted the file.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and open up the forecast now. You'll notice that this file looks like a Microsoft Excel file. The reason for that is that we've actually utilized Microsoft's Office web components. So unlike with some other online spreadsheets, you're not learning a new spreadsheet, you're simply using Excel online. Now, most of the things that I can do with a regular Excel spreadsheet, I can do right here in eXpresso. With my commands and options box, I can do formatting, work with formulas, work with multiple sheets, and organize my workbook. There are, however, a few features of Excel that are not available in the online Office web components. To address that, eXpresso has created an add-in for Excel. Simply download the add-in, and now I can open my desktop Excel and log into eXpresso right from Excel. I can now open any of the files that I have stored in eXpresso and work on them in my Excel environment. Now, there's a couple of reasons I want to do this. First, now I can use all of the features of Excel. I can use pivot tables, charts and graphs, even macros in Visual Basic code. All of these elements are stored as part of the spreadsheet, although some of them are not visible in the online environment. The other reason I might want to use the add-in is if I want to work on the file while I'm disconnected from the internet. Perhaps I'm going to get on a plane and want to get some work done while I'm en route. I can simply check out the file from eXpresso, make the changes that I need, and save the file back to eXpresso when I land. Those changes will then be reflected to all of the other users with whom I have shared the spreadsheet. Moving back to the online environment, I can see that there are 2 users currently editing this file. And if I use my handy chat icon, I can see that John Evanston has joined me in the file. I can tell because his smiley face is illuminated. Now John and I can have a chat about the file. What's unique about eXpresso Chat is that these chats are actually archived as part of the history of the spreadsheet. So in 6 months or so, when I'm wondering what we did and why, I can always go back and look at the archived chat to see the conversation that we may have had. This is much better than digging through emails and trying to associate them with the spreadsheet you've been working on. Now I've asked John to update his forecast. When he does, I'll see his changes automatically pushed to my screen.
Okay, I just made some changes.
Excellent. I can see those, John. Thank you. You'll notice that I didn't refresh my browser. I didn't close and reopen the file. John and I are simply collaborating on one file in real time. If we were having a forecast meeting, for example, and we made some changes, at the end of our call we would have a completely reflective work product that showed everything we did. One more feature I'd like to show before I leave this screen is the save point. If I'm working on a file and I'm going to make changes that I'm uncertain about, I can always set a save point, which gives me the ability to roll the file back to that point in time if ever I want to. The next thing I'd like to talk about is file history. One of the unique features of eXpresso is that we keep a detailed history of everything that happens to the file over time. And we do this in two ways. The first is a regular file history report. This gives me a big picture view of everything that's happened to my file. I can see that I've uploaded it, that I've shared it with John, and that John accepted it, and that he made some edits to the file. I can even see that rollback point that I set and can roll the file back to that point in time if I want to. So this is a great way to know who's been working on the file, when they made changes, and what they did. Now sometimes I want to know even more specifically what's happened to the file over time, even down to the cell level. eXpresso uniquely provides that capability through what we call cell history reports. I'm going to go ahead and track some cells in this forecast that John and I have been working on. This is the third quarter, so let's say I'm very interested in John's forecast, and not only do I want to know what it is, but I want to know how it changes over time. I can select that cell, give the cell a name so I remember what it is, and even set an email alert. Now if John makes a change to his Q3 forecast, I'll receive an email that tells me the new value of John's forecast. I'm a very forward-looking sales manager, so I'll track Q4 as well. Now all I have to do is give this report a name and save it. Now when I look at the properties of this forecast file we've been working on, I'll see that I have this report called John's Forecast. Clicking on the report gives me a list of everything that's happened to these particular cells over time. I can see that John changed his Q3 forecast from 2 to 300 and from 300 to 250. I might have to give him a call and find out what happened to that extra 50. I can also see the changes that were made in Q4. Now you'll notice that I created this report after John made these changes to the file. eXpresso actually is going back to the beginning of the file and pulling forward all of the changes that happened, even retroactively.